Royal commentator Esther Kraku joins me now from London. Before we launch into the latest shenanigans from Prince Harry, Esther, let's talk about Philip Schofield. There are already talks of a comeback, and this old clip has been doing the rounds on social media, featuring the late, great Barry Humphries, who seemed to have an inkling that old Phil was leading a double life.
Going on that holiday in Portugal, Stephanie wasn't there, was she?
Well, she was. She wasn't in the picture that made it into the papers.
No. Where was she? Where was Stephanie when you were overindulging in Portuguese beverages?
Just a coincidence, or did everyone have a feeling about Phil?
Oh, she definitely had a feeling about Phil. The funny thing is, and I know this sounds insane, we all knew. The media, especially in the UK, is a very, very small space. Word travels very quickly. Everyone knew. I highly doubt that there was a single person that's ever even heard of Philip Schofield that didn't know about this. So I do think that that was a very tongue-in-cheek moment. That was probably a premonition of what is to come. But you could see his body language, he got quite awkward and nervous. But that's because he knew.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what he'd been up to.
Yes, and you'd be wondering, what does Barry Humphries know? Does he know? And does he know that I know that he knows? It can get very confusing.
Yeah.
But Philip Schofield's lawyer's talking about if the current media spotlight reveals no new allegations, he said, then it's entirely recoverable for him, and Talk TV could be the perfect place for him to start again in a high-profile media entertainment. That's a quote from his lawyer. Esther, Talk TV is your stomping ground. Is a comeback on the cards, and would you welcome him with open arms?
Look, I obviously don't have conversations with the powers that be at Talk TV. I do think that it would be quite a strange fit because Talk TV has quite a strong perspective. And I don't know if that would actually fit Philip's, view of the world or the way he likes to, discuss issues. I think that's more of a job application a cheeky job application from his agents, as opposed to Talk TV actually making overtures. If you were in the UK, you would know that the whole week of the Philip Schofield saga was just completely unbearable. I think it's very clear that his career may have run its course.
Now, let's move on to Prince Harry. He's set to miss another royal event, this time King Charles's birthday parade. And Harry's performance in the High Court has apparently left the monarch embarrassed. Tell me why so many are saying his appearance on the stand was ill-advised.
Well, the Sussexes have so far been embarrassing the royal family for years now. So I think at this point it's par for the course. I think this particular case of Prince Harry on the stand was quite astonishing because of how ill-prepared he was. I mean, he kind of went down the same line as, the Oprah interviews, talking about his feelings, how articles that he read between 1991 and 2011 made him feel. And when you're under the interrogation of a seasoned barrister like Andrew Green, your feelings don't get very far in the courtroom. And so it was quite shocking to see the kind of things that he said. I mean, at one point, because he's suing the MGN group for unlawful activity, including phone hacking, to try and get information about his life. And at one point, he said that he's there to find out if they've actually been hacking him. So he said he's accusing them of phone hacking, and then at the court case he said, this is what we're here to find out. And I just found that very strange. Why would you accuse someone of something that you're not even sure they've done? And it seems like he doesn't have a shred of evidence to back up.
No, I wouldn't have thought you go to the High Court for discovery. You would have some evidence before you get to that stage, you would hope. But, it's all about Harry's truth. The objective truth is almost irrelevant in his world. And I've got a special treat for you here, Esther. We have a reconstruction of Harry on the stand, thanks to Sky News UK. Let's have a look.
I believe that, again, as a child, every single one of these articles played an important role, a destructive role in my growing up. To give any confirmation that I can specifically remember reading the articles at the time, I believe would be speculation. Yes, as you said, more than thousands, maybe millions of articles have been written about me since age 12.
Oh, it's funny. Are you having fun with this trial? I don't think the judge is enjoying it. He's made some pointed remarks, but are you enjoying the frivolity?
To be perfectly honest, I think I'm more shocked than anything else, and that's a lot coming from me, because it takes a lot to surprise me. I cannot believe that Prince Harry and the other 100 other sort of people that are suing the MGN group are spending this much money to try and prove something in court when it looks like they don't really have the evidence to back it up. There are many things that Prince Harry does that no longer surprises me, but this I thought was a different level of bizarre.
Now, I mentioned at the top that Prince Harry may not be at King Charles's birthday festivities. This reportedly would mark the first time Harry has not been welcome at his father's official birthday celebrations. A royal source told News Corp, "I'm afraid it's a reflection of the state of relations at the moment." Esther, we thought the coronation may be an opportunity to heal some of those wounds and begin to reconcile, but it doesn't seem to be happening.
Well, clearly, the mood is still very frosty. I mean, Prince Harry spent twice as long in the UK for his court case than he did at King Charles's coronation. And from what we can see, obviously the palace hasn't confirmed anything. It still seems to be quite cold certainly between the siblings, but also between Prince Harry and his father. The reality is, though, I think the royal family as an institution is clearly on a path, and they're clearly trying to pursue a certain strategy which alienates the likes of the Sussexes and Prince Andrew as well. So I suspect that even if relations were warmer, he still wouldn't be invited. He's not a working royal. I don't think he has any way back into the royal family. There's a big question mark whether his children will even know anything about the royal family, know their relatives and their cousins here in the UK. But I think it's mostly the fact that the royal family are trying to just get on with business and ignore the peripheral royals that really shouldn't be in the public eye, and also the fact that tensions are still running high between the Sussexes and the royal family.
Now, before I let you go, can I just have a short summation on the rise and fall of Boris Johnson? And the key question, will we see him re-enter politics? There's been talk about perhaps a new party alongside Nigel Farage. Can you see any of that happening?
Well, I certainly don't see a Nigel-Boris kind of, collaboration, just because Nigel Farage was, effectively a one-issue politician, which was Brexit, and seeing that through and seeing that done properly and the vision that he had in mind. And Boris really has no convictions one way or another. He was always kind of a floating blue, in quotes, politician. He's been very obviously angry about being ousted out of Parliament, as he, in his own words, he said that he was convicted by a committee in the House of Commons, which was effectively a kangaroo court. And over the last few months, he's been trying to make his feelings known and actually drag down other members of the party. I find it very difficult to imagine a way back for Boris, not just because he's lost popularity with the rest of the country, but mainly the Conservative base. I mean, that was really his raison d'etre. When you've lost, your base, when you've lost all friends in Parliament, the extent to which he had any to begin with is quite dubious. I don't really see a way back from him. I think he's going to the speaking circuit and get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to just give speeches.
And he may need that money because he keeps having more and more children, Esther. It doesn't seem to stop. Esther Krakue, thank you for joining me today.